Well, took a look at Doctor Who and the Faceless Ones, and this was my first time seeing it. Unlike some of the second Doctor episodes I reviewed, quite a few of those before I had my own copies of them. I saw them on PBS way back in the day when they started, running those. Mostly it was Tom Baker and then Peter Davison, and then eventually got to see, of course, Pertwee. They ran through the whole run of his, and then you got some of the surviving complete adventures of Hartnell and Troughton, and but this was one didn't, because most of it is missing. So saw the animated version of it. And one wonders how some of the scenes played out. I don't know about these creatures who it's kind of like the Body Snatchers, except this is these aliens from a destroyed world or doomed or what have you. They can't live on it, so they're wanting to infiltrate the Earth, and they've gotten quite a far long way in their plot. As the Doctor, Ben, Polly, and Jamie arrive at this airport where the plot's unfolding, and they make use of these planes and all this stuff, and they've outfitted the planes to fly into space to their mothership, which I have no idea. And you can hide a lot in black and white, so maybe it didn't look so bad, but I mean, I don't know how the models were handled and whatnot, and what those scenes did, but also what happens to these aliens once the device they use to copy other of human beings. So they're able to do this, and then the actual human being is put aside, kept in storage, in a drawer somewhere. As eventually they're shrunk down and everything. It's a crazy story in a lot of ways. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. The actual aliens here they're running under their shell company, Chameleon Tours. Because that's what they are. But the deal is, they have these devices, so the human that they replace stays sort of in a coma, and meanwhile the chameleons here, they go around posing as these people and facilitating the plot. And but eventually, if you remove it from them, they immediately disintegrate into a pool of snot. And I'm not sure how that, because if it's a cartoon, he just, there they go. And they're all green looking and really messed up. And I took that because of whatever happened to them on their home and what have you. Of course, the Doctor looks into this, and immediately he and his companions are seen as the culprits and whatnot, and they still haven't gotten full control of the airport, as the main guy in control here hasn't been replaced, but quite a few of his lieutenants have. And so as it goes, there's traps for the Doctor to be in. There's some amount of trouble for mostly Polly, very briefly, as Ben and Polly just sort of go off camera and we don't see them until the end. Now, I don't know what the deal was entirely. I believe their contract was up and they were supposed to leave, and I can't remember if the story was they should have left in the previous adventure, but they stayed on anyway, but they're not really used at all here. There's this new female character brought in who quite literally, Samantha was her name, and she has a crush almost immediately on Jamie, and it's like you're setting her up to be and apparently I think she was asked to be the new companion along with Jamie, and I guess like the actress didn't want to do it, didn't want to commit to a full-time gig on a TV series. And so they say, all right. So they, they eventually they get to Victoria, but I think that's how that played out. But anyway, but it, within the narrative of the story, it's like, oh, you're setting this girl up to be the new companion and whatnot. And then by the end, the doctor has solved everything, of course. And Ben and Polly suddenly realize the year and the time they're in is right at the moment their first adventure with the doctor had begun. And now this is their chance to just go home. And so they do. And then that's that. And then, it's just the doctor and Jamie, and they got to go find the TARDIS. Now, the TARDIS lands in the middle of the airport at the beginning, and they immediately just scatter and run because planes are landing and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, well, just hop back in the TARDIS and move it, But they didn't. It gets picked up by a truck. And that will lead into Evil of the Daleks, which will be the next adventure. And so there's almost like one follows the other almost immediately. Like a lot of Doctor Who episodes, hey, we solved it, they hop in the TARDIS and leave. Yay. And then the next time they just show up in something else. So this one will be one, feeds into the other. Every now and then you get something like that. But for the most part, not so much. But anyway, so I don't know how it went in the original. I've seen, the stills and stuff like that, how that looked in motion and what have you. But in the cartoon, and I saw the, the colorized version of it. Okay, it wasn't in color originally, but for the most part, it was just kind of odd with Ben and Polly just sort of being written out almost immediately and then brought back to say, well, goodbye. I don't know. I don't know what the thinking was there. It's just, hey, we can hurry up and introduce this next girl. And then the actress says, yeah, I don't want to. So I don't know how that unfolded. But that's about it. The rest of it, it's just it's a fun adventure for Doctor Who. And of course the typical circumstances, no one believes the doctor and all this stuff, and one trap after another, and that sort of thing. So I had a lot of fun with it, and so it's got that going for it. It's just the odd things about a send-off for two companions who had been there for a while, but that's and it is overall that's a bit of a mistake. I think they probably should have figured out how to handle that better, but I don't know. Maybe it was some contractual thing and the circumstances were such that they just couldn't do it that way. I don't know. But a lot of some good stuff in it, and of course the spaceship and everything looks really cool in cartoon form. I don't know how that went in the real one, but overall I had a lot of fun with it. I liked it. So that ought to count for something, I would think. You're supposed to enjoy these. Well, I did.